The Chicago Bears are one quiet phone call away from flipping this whole offseason on its head, and nobody in Chicago is ready for how fast it could hit. 1 minute, it feels like the Bears are building in a steady, careful way. The next minute, it feels like a door is cracking open to something reckless in the best way. Not a small move, not a safe move, a move that changes how every offense lines up against them. Because look at the direction Chicago's pushing. The Bears are trying to level up the offense around Caleb Williams, make the attacks cleaner, make the pressure on him lighter, and make Sundays feel less like survival. But the twist is, the defense still needs a real bully up front, the kind of force that makes quarterbacks rush throws before routes even finish. You already have Montez Sweat, you already have a base to build on, but Chicago knows one edge rusher is not enough when you want to control games, not just hang around in them. And that is why this story will not die. The Bears are not shouting it. They are not acting loud about it. But the league is watching the same thing at the same time. The Raiders and the future of Maxx Crosby. And what nobody is talking about is how this could turn from whispers to a real decision before you even feel ready. Because once the first serious report hits, everything after that moves like a chain reaction. Now the only question is why the smoke just got louder again, and who quietly lit the match. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Bears and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 500 likes on this video. It was quiet, then one new report made it feel loud again. A well-connected national voice put the Chicago Bears right back in the middle of the Maxx Crosby conversation. Not as a wish, as a real team watching the situation closely. And that matters because it is not just Chicago. It is a small crowd of serious teams with eyes on the Raiders, the Cowboys, the Ravens, the Bills, the Patriots, the Eagles, and the Rams. When that many teams are looking at the same door, it usually means the lock is not as tight as people thought. But here's the part that makes this feel different. Nobody wants it to look like a public chase. The Raiders do not want to put Maxx Crosby on a billboard like he is a product, and Crosby does not want it to sound like he is begging out. So the talk moves in a strange way. Quiet calls, quiet checks, quiet leaks, and fans get whiplash. Because one person says Chicago will not do it, then another person says Chicago is the first team that would jump. That clash is why this story keeps coming back, because it sounds like the Bears' interest is real, just not loud. Now the pressure is building for one reason: time. Teams are about to spend money, fill holes, and set their boards. So the Raiders cannot drag this forever without forcing everyone else to move on. The shocking part is how fast this can turn once the first serious offer lands. Because the market does not need a public auction to explode, it only needs one team to blink. And that leads straight into the next question. What would the Raiders actually want to see? And what kind of deal would make them pick a path instead of sitting in the middle? The Las Vegas Raiders are not just weighing a trade, they are weighing an identity. Because Maxx Crosby is not treated like a normal star in that building. He is the tone. He is the effort. He is the guy fans point to when they say this team still has pride. So if Vegas ever lets him go, it cannot feel like a surrender. It has to feel like a controlled choice, a reset they can defend without losing the locker room. That is why their side of this story is so strict. They do not want a messy public chase. They do not want a long circus where everyone takes turns tossing offers. And they do not want Maxx Crosby looking like he is trying to escape. They would rather keep it simple and tight. Either commit to him fully or move him in a way that protects his image and the team's image at the same time. And even if they choose the trade route, they are not doing favors, because once you move a player like this, you cannot undo it. So what makes them even listen is not hype, it is clarity. A deal that feels clean, a return that helps them build fast, and a path where they can say, we got stronger for tomorrow without disrespecting what Maxx Crosby gave us. Anything that looks like a bargain gets shut down. Anything that looks like chaos gets delayed. And anything that feels like real value gets serious fast. Now the spotlight swings back to Chicago, because wanting him is easy. The hard part is deciding what the Bears are willing to carry once the Raiders stop playing nice. The Chicago Bears do not get many chances to add a defender who can tilt the field by himself, and that is why Maxx Crosby keeps pulling this story back into the spotlight. This is not just about getting louder on defense, it is about choosing a lane for the whole year. If Chicago goes all in, every other plan has to bend around that one decision: the draft, the money, even how patient you can be with the rest of the roster. The part that can wreck it is not effort, it is the price that follows him. Maxx Crosby is the kind of player who will want long-term security, and that is fair, but it means Chicago is not just trading for a jersey. They are trading for a contract they must live with. Then there is the health side. You are buying greatness, but you are also buying a recent recovery, and you do not get refunds in the NFL. Add in the simple truth that cheap young talent matters, and suddenly giving away premium picks starts to feel like a risk you can only take if you are sure the rest of the team is ready. And here's the line Chicago cannot cross. You cannot make the defense stronger by ripping the heart out of the roster somewhere else. So if the Bears want Maxx Crosby without turning the locker room upside down, the offer has to be smart, not just big. That is where this gets tense, because the cleanest offers usually include a player fans already know, not just future picks. And the moment that name shows up, everything changes. The Chicago Bears can talk picks all day, but the Raiders will want something that feels real, something their fans can point to the second the news drops. That is where this gets heavy, because the names that could enter the room are not random. It starts with Maxx Crosby being the prize, then the conversation drifts toward DJ Moore, Tremaine Edmunds, and even Gervon Dexter. And the moment those names show up, this stops being a rumor and starts feeling like a decision with consequences. DJ Moore is the kind of piece that makes a trade feel serious fast, because he is proven and he changes an offense the second he walks in. For the Raiders, that is simple. You get a target who can carry real snaps and give your future direction a safety net. For Chicago, it is a gut check, because moving DJ Moore is not just moving a player, it is moving a voice in the locker room and a threat on the field. You do it only if you believe the defense is about to become the reason you win, not the reason you hang on. Then you have Tremaine Edmunds, a name that feels like money and muscle in one package, the kind of player who can help a defense right away and also reshape the books if Chicago is trying to make a big move fit. And Gervon Dexter is the kind of young piece that makes teams pause, because youth is gold, especially in the trenches. So now the tension is obvious. Chicago has multiple paths, but every path costs something that matters. And the next step is where it gets real. 3 different offers, 3 different sacrifices, and only one of them feels like the right kind of pain. Now it stops being a debate and turns into a choice, because the Raiders are not even picking up the phone unless the offer feels like it hurts. Chicago can wave around future picks, but the Raiders will measure it by one thing. Does this move give them a clean reset without looking weak? And for the Bears, the tension is brutal, because the moment you start talking about pick number 25, you are not buying a player. You're buying a whole new direction for the season. The first offer is the one that feels loud, but still controlled. Pick number 25, a future mid-round pick, and DJ Moore. That is the kind of package that makes the Raiders feel like they gained something real right now, not just hope later, because DJ Moore is a ready weapon, not a project. For Chicago, it is a hard swallow, but it is also the cleanest math. You are not stacking random pieces. You are trading a major offense asset to unlock a major defense problem. And you are betting the rest of the receiver room can survive the hit. The second offer swings toward defense. Pick number 25, a future third-round pick, and Tremaine Edmunds, which gives Vegas a proven body and gives Chicago a way to make the money side feel less tight. The third offer leans into youth, a first-round pick, a fourth-round pick, and Gervon Dexter, with the Raiders sending back a late pick to soften the sting, because that is a trench player you can grow with, not just rent for a season. And here's the scary part. Every one of these offers can sound fair on paper, but only one gets accepted. And if the Raiders slam the door anyway, Chicago has to pivot fast into the draft plan that can still build a faster, nastier defense without the blockbuster. The Chicago Bears do not have to land one headline name to come out of this offseason stronger, and that is the part people keep missing. If the splash never comes, the Bears can still build a defense that makes quarterbacks feel trapped, not comfortable. The twist is, the draft can do it in layers, one fast body inside, one clean finisher on the back end. And suddenly, the whole unit plays quicker. Not louder, quicker. That is the kind of change you feel by the second drive. Start in the middle, because chaos up the middle ruins every pass game plan. If Chicago wants real pressure without begging for it, they need an interior player who moves like he hates being blocked. Names getting real buzz in this class include Zane Durant, Caleb Proctor, Grayson Halton, and Albert Regis. Different styles, same promise, quick first step, real burst, in the kind of hands that can turn a clean pocket into panic. One hit, one shove, one late arm across the chest, and now the quarterback is stepping into trouble he never saw. Then the back end becomes the knife, because speed back there changes what the defense can call. If the Bears want range and violence in the right way, people keep circling Caleb Downs at the top, then Dylan Thieneman, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, A.J. Halsey, Kamari Ramsey, Jalan Kilgore, and Lorenzo Styles Jr. as names who can add fast answers in space. And this is where the pressure rises again, because the calendar does not wait. Teams start filling holes, boards lock in, and Chicago has to decide what they are chasing first. That leads straight into the final question. What do you watch for this week that tells you which path the Bears are actually taking? The Chicago Bears are entering the part of the calendar where silence becomes a signal. When teams start making real moves, the rumor fog clears fast because money gets spent, visits get booked, and front offices stop hiding behind maybes. That is why this week matters, not because fans are impatient, but because the league is about to force choices. If this is real, you will feel the shift before you even see the headline. Watch how the story changes tone, not just how often it gets mentioned. If the Raiders start using careful language, like they are protecting a decision, that is a clue. If Chicago starts clearing space or acting like they are keeping one door open on purpose, that is a clue. And if the names around the situation stop sounding like casual chatter and start sounding like firm lanes, that is when you know talks are not just happening, they are moving. The biggest sign is when both sides start acting like time is their enemy, because that is when someone finally blinks. So here is the one question that decides everything. Do the Bears want to win with a big swing now? Or do they want to stack smart wins and let the roster grow the hard way? Either answer can work, but only one fits what Chicago believes it is becoming. Tell me where you land, because the second that choice is made, the next move will not feel like news. It will feel like a warning shot.